And some of the trends that we see in these markets. So I think firstly looking at the fixed line side of things, we see in the developed markets that there's a trend towards upgrading existing fibre to the home and fibre to the building with more advanced technologies. So some examples of that would be in South Korea, Korea Telecom has launched 10 gig EPON, allowing them to offer gigabit access to their subscribers. We also see in Hong Kong Telecom has launched 10 GPON. That will allow them to offer subscribers speeds of 10 gigabits per second. There are also cases in the developed markets in the APAC region where operators are upgrading FTTB networks. So we see Chunghwa Telecom in Taiwan has launched G.fast using copper within MDUs to provide subscribers with higher speeds. In the emerging APAC markets, we see it's a rather different trend, that operators there are concentrating on initial rollouts and moving subscribers away from ADSL connections with low single-digit speeds. So a good example of that would be Telkom Indonesia in Indonesia, which has conducted a widespread deployment of FTTX using a variety of architectures. So there's some FTTH, some FTTC, for example. Those rollouts can be useful from a number of purposes. They can allow these operators to launch new services such as IPTV with HD. They also remove the bottleneck that low-speed ADSL connections imply. So with a low-speed ADSL connection, there may be difficulties in streaming video in real time, and the impact of that is to constrain traffic on the fixed network. Once operators roll out FTTX and subscribers take access using those technologies, then that bottleneck is removed, and there will be subsequent growth in traffic on the fixed network. And that's important because the constraint for mobile operators in offering mobile broadband or cellular technologies for home broadband is the capacity constraints, so the difficulty in providing unlimited packages with LTE as a home broadband technology. And so the result of the incumbents' investments in FTTX is that mobile operators in the emerging APAC region may be pushed to invest themselves in FTTX technologies, and that's an important strategic consideration for operators in that region. And for MNOs, launching FTTX could serve a number of purposes. It could help to grow revenues in what is still an underpenetrated market, the fixed broadband sector. There could be synergies on a network level between fixed network and mobile network. There could be retail-related synergies, so offering fixed broadband access with fibre. You could combine that in packages with postpaid mobile as a way to grow your postpaid mobile penetration. So that's definitely a strong area of interest for MNOs in the APAC region, is looking at investments in fixed networks and in FTTX. So turning to the mobile side of things, we see that obviously one very important area, generally speaking, is LTE. I think the situation is rather different between emerging APAC and developed APAC. So in the emerging markets, we still see that in some cases there's a question about whether to continue to invest in 3G and does that make sense in a context where obviously 4G is more spectrally efficient. The constraint in the emerging APAC region is the price premium of 4G devices versus 3G devices. Now, this price premium is not, from a developed market perspective, an important consideration, but in emerging markets where incomes are lower, this could